Now we're moving over to a two-point perspective. You can see the point over on the left, say that was a north direction, and the one on your right would be an east direction. You notice that there's straight lines that go to the left one, there's straight lines that go to the right one, and then one set actually doesn't project to any points, they run straight up and down. So this is an example of working with those two vanishing points. There's the three sets of parallel lines of the cube that now go to points, and then the one set runs straight up and down. So that's how two-point perspective works. So this is an example of an exterior where the same thing applies. A lot of times in my drawings I like to add a little nature just to make you aware that these can all be complete environments that are wrapped around you, and adding a tree helps that. Here's one that's colored in a little bit so you can see it's projecting toward the two different vanishing points on the outside, and then one set up and down. So lots of things can be done with that.
This is a two-point perspective drawing that I'm going to show you from the beginning to the end, and with the color like you see it here. This is how I would start it, with the use of grids. Now this shows the grid, the two-point perspective grid. You can see the straight lines that I just showed you there. I always like to start by adding a clear sheet of paper over the top and accent the vanishing points. And then starting with the closest line to you of the cube, drawing cubes around in that space. This, of course, are outside cubes that you're looking at. And then I also, after I do the outside cubes, then I like to put them inside of a cubical room to show that this grid, which you can see through the paper to help you draw the lines, can be either external cubes or internal cubes. This course is a very speeded up video. I can't really draw quite this fast, but that's the edge really has to end at the vanishing points in two-point perspective. Two-point perspective is really, if you think about it, 90 degrees of the visual space around you. So it's like 1/4 of the horizon, north to east, or say north to west, one or the other. There's a set of lines that run straight up and down in this, and then two vanishing points that all the other lines of the cube project to. The cube, when you're drawing it, have three sets of parallel lines. In two-point perspective, one of the parallel sets of the lines go to one vanishing point, the next set go to the opposite vanishing point, and then one set runs straight up and down. So two of the different sides or parallel sets of the cube project to their own vanishing points. And then still one runs straight up and down. Now you can see even the little windows and the doors that you draw in this, they still use the grid, and they still aim toward the two different vanishing points, or run straight up and down. Once again, I like to add a little bit of people and plants in order to make it a little more of a relaxed scene. Otherwise, sometimes it comes off as a very cold type of scene. Once again, I'm going to also show you the different planes. The red planes are all parallel in space to each other. Each of the different planes. That little glimpse there of the grid, so that you're aware that that's underneath, that that's what I'm looking at. Even the directions that I run the pencil a lot of times will run with the grid. If I use a crosshatch in my color work, I a lot of times will go with the grid too, with the strokes. Some of the background, you can see the background showing up through the windows and doors. People up above in the ceiling. It's good to break into the ceiling, and so that you can see that all of those different planes can all be broken into, and more space can be added into that. Another red plane there. Floor, I'm going with the yellow for the floor. Two-point perspective, of course, was invented in the Renaissance time also. Perspective is kind of interesting in that it's a little hard to know exactly who invented 1- and 2-point perspective. And then you'll see the very finished product at the end, where I intensify the colors a little bit more to make it show up.